We are back with the Primetime Fantasy Pod. Were you expecting it?
Nope.
Primetime Fantasy Podcast. We are here, electric opener. We got a little bit of a different format for you. We're going to give you our picks first, strictly our picks. Then we're going to go into our top 5 players for each position group. These are guys that, we're not talking about Christian McCaffrey and Michael Thomas.
Outside the top 10 at each position.
Outside the elite guys, we'll say.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if mine might qualify, but we'll have to see. So,
well, actually, at tight end, I have a few. Tight end's so weak. Tight end is so weak that's the one position where you're going to have quarterback and tight end. You'll have some guys in the top 10, but for running back and wide receiver, these guys are going to be just outside the top 10 or lower as far as plays. But tight ends and quarterbacks, it's so weak that some of these guys will be in the top 10.
Oh yeah. So, we're going to go into our picks first. Nick is currently at 63-52. I am at 68-47 with a 5-game lead. Teams on bye this week are the Packers and Seahawks. Those are the bigger guys on bye. You'll have more people missing those people. And then the Giants and Titans are on bye, which if you have any Giants or Titans on your team, I'm sorry. Although Barkley's on the Giants and Jones has been playing well against better matchups. So, let's get into it. Steelers at Browns Thursday Night Football. By the time you're listening to this, it's already happened. I'm picking the Steelers, and you are going with
the Browns in this matchup.
Falcons at Panthers. I will take the Panthers.
And I'm going to take the Panthers as well.
All right. Yeah.
Look at this rapid fire right here.
All right. Cowboys at the Lions.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'll take the Cowboys.
I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Lions. They are. It looks like Stafford is going to be out long term, and they're going to work out, or they're going to go to Kaepernick's workout. So.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So until then, it's Jeff Driscoll. So Cowboys.
All right. I will take the Cowboys by 60. Jaguars at Colts.
I will take. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Colts, so this is a tough one. It's
Nick
in
Foles
Indianapolis.
first came back?
Yeah, it's in Indianapolis, so I am actually going to take the Colts.
I will take the Colts as well.
I'm going to bet on Brissett playing this week.
I think Brissett comes back this week also. He looks like an MVP candidate.
Well, look how bad Brian Hoyer was last week. They lost at home to the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins are red hot right now. I might actually pick the Dolphins.
He threw like 3 picks, and Brian Hoyer was terrible last week.
Dolphins red hot at home against the Bills. Who are you picking?
I'm taking the Bills. You almost made me pick the Dolphins there. Like, you were just saying so many things. I was about to say Dolphins, but no, the Bills.
Dolphins red hot, but I'll take the. I'll take
You're
the Bills.
You're gonna pick against the Bills.
Well, Josh Allen, prime candidate to do well this week, but we'll get into that later. Texans at Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens.
I will also take the Ravens,
but I think it's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be.
I think that's the game of the week right there. Personally,
I hope Tony Romo's calling that game.
Broncos at Vikings.
Easy Minnesota Vikings.
I will take Denver in an upset.
Did you watch what they did against Dallas on the road in Jerry World Sunday?
That was impressive, but
Kirk Cousins. I mean, we both said he's trash, but he's been playing well.
No, yeah, these past probably 4 weeks, he's been doing really well.
And the Vikings
showed up in prime time
at home against Denver. Who's starting at quarterback for Denver? Is it still Brandon Allen?
I thought Flacco would be back. No.
He's out.
All right, we already picked Denver, so we're picking Denver. We're picking Denver in an upset.
I made up a game. I'll take it.
All right. We'll take Denver in an upset. Jets at the Redskins. I think we just lost power in our household. The lights just went out. But you know what?
Does the podcast still go?
Yep, because the computer does not run on.
What about the mic?
Yeah, mic's still going.
All right, we're still going here. All right, what was the matchup?
Jets at Redskins. I think I know who I'm going with.
I'm going with the... Oh, boy, I don't like this game. You know what? Give me the Redskins.
Give you the Redskins. All right. Interesting.
You're taking the Jets?
I am taking the Jets on the road. I think they beat the Redskins, and I think they use their ground game to ticket that one. Saints at the Buccaneers.
I am taking the Saints. It's a bounce-back game for them.
Yep, I will take the Saints as well. I did not expect them to lose that bad to Atlanta.
No, I don't think anyone picked Atlanta to upset them on the road. And if you did, you're lying.
Brian Hill. Cardinals at the 49ers.
This is easy for me, 49ers. They already went on the road and beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are actually decent, but they're just too young.
Last game was pretty close, but that was a Thursday night game, and I think
it was in Arizona, so that's why. But I think the Cardinals are better than the record says they are, but they are not going to be able to beat the 49ers.
And I think 49ers also in a short week also puts them at a disadvantage, but I think the 49ers are good enough to make that up. Bengals at the Raiders, game of the week.
Raiders.
Super Bowl. All right. Actually, Raiders have been playing pretty well. They're only a game
Yeah,
out of
I
the
think
division.
this is a game where both Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs are going to go off.
Yep, and I will take the Raiders in that one as well. Patriots at the Eagles, Super Bowl rematch.
I'm going to take the Patriots on the road.
I will take the Eagles in an upset.
They're underdogs at home.
I would imagine.
I thought this game would be a scratch.
Well, it might be a scratch. I would think the Eagles.
That'll be a good game too. That's Sunday night, right?
Oh, Patriots are going. Oh, why did I pick the Eagles? They're off a bye, aren't they?
No, the Patriots are they off a bye? You're putting me on the spot here.
Because the Patriots were.
Maybe,
they played the Ravens 2 weeks ago. Last week they were on bye.
Yeah, you're
Picking
against the Patriots off a bye.
Well, I mean,
hey, you wrote it down. There's no taking it back.
Patriots on a regular week are usually play like they're off a bye.
All right, what's the next
Bears
one?
at the Rams Sunday Night Football.
Oh boy.
I will take the Rams. I think that's an easy one for me. Trubisky.
I'm taking the quarterback position. I will take the Rams as well.
Yep. Jared Goff not doing as well, but Trubisky played really well against a terrible Lions defense. It's fool's gold. Don't bet on the Bears. Take the Rams in that one. And Monday Night Football, probably.
Give me the Chiefs.
I will take the Chiefs as well.
The Chargers are disappointing this year. And I believe this game's in Mexico City.
It might be.
I think it is.
I think a lot of
either way, it doesn't matter. If it's in Los Angeles, there's no home crowd advantage. So I'm dead serious.
I know you are.
Every team, Green Bay flooded in there. Pittsburgh flooded in there. Everyone flooded
Chargers,
in there.
Bit of a disappointment. Yeah, you're right. And I think inconsistent is more the word you want to go for. So I think they can have a chance to make this one close. I'll take the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes does well against that Los Angeles defense. Those are our picks. We're going to get into our top 5 positions. We're going to rank them 5 to 1. So obviously we think the 1's going to do better than 5.
But these are all like guys that you can feel comfortable starting.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't put anyone on my list that I wouldn't start this week if I.
Well, I hope not. I hope you didn't put Jeff Driscoll on there.
Driscoll Mania?
Yeah. Is that what it is now?
Yeah. Quarterback, number 5. You want to go first? You want me to?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So these are, like we said, for quarterback and tight ends, some of these guys are going to be maybe fall in the top 10, but for the majority, they're just like right around 10. I'm putting Phillip Rivers at 5 against the Chiefs. I think that he's going to be behind in the game and he's going to have to compete. There's going to be a lot of passing for Phillip Rivers in this game to try to keep up with the Chiefs.
Yep, I agree. My number 5 is going to be Nick Foles. The reason he's at number 5 and not higher, this is his first game coming back from week 1. He did have a bye to prepare, so it's not like, Jeff Driscoll, he woke up to his coach saying,
he's had like 11 weeks to get ready, or what was it, 10 weeks to get back, so.
Yeah, so, and he was informed he was going to be starting after the bye last week. Colts defense, average, not terrible, not great either. So I think Foles has a chance to have a bounce back game.
4 for me, Kyle Allen. He struggled last week, but that's in Green Bay, in the snow, tough matchup, tough environment. He's at home against Atlanta. He's 4 for me.
All right, and my number 4 is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. They're playing against the Cardinals. Garoppolo, a bit inconsistent this season, but the Cardinals has been a consistently bad defense. I will take Garoppolo at number 4.
And for 3, I have Jimmy Garoppolo. Everything you said, he lit up the Cardinals a couple weeks ago, and I don't see any reason why he doesn't do it this week.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Kyle Allen. Like you said, Falcons defense, terrible. Dan Quinn should be fired. He is.
Hey, you got to give him a little credit for going into New Orleans, and
all right, yeah.
For all we rag on them, they actually put up a fight. Most teams that are 1-7, they already quit on the year.
Well, they have an explosive offense. Their offense can go any week of the year, but I think the Panthers. The reason why I picked the Panthers, they have a great defense, and I think Kyle Allen.
I would hold off on great defense. They have good pieces on defense, but they can't stop.
Their pass defense has been top 5.
Yeah,
right?
but they can't. They're giving up like 5 yards a carry.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Number 2 for me is Derek Carr. Lovely matchup. He could be the quarterback. He could be a top 3 quarterback this week, and I would not be surprised. He's at home against the Bengals. Terrible. Bottom 3 pass defense in the league.
My number 2 is Phillip Rivers. Like you mentioned, at number 5, he's going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who good pass rush, but other than that, bad defense. Phillip Rivers you should have be
Yep.
comfortable.
One for me is Josh Allen. He's playing the Dolphins. This isn't a cold weather game in Buffalo. This is going to be in Miami. The Dolphins, even though they won a couple games, this is going to be a good matchup for Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is also my number one. I think he does well against the Dolphins. Yes, the Dolphins are red hot. They just picked off Brian Hoyer 3 times, but spoiler alert, Brian Hoyer is
he's
not
like a Pro Bowl alternate.
Brian
But
Hoyer
on the alternate list, he's like 29th waiting to get in.
I would say more like 60th, but Josh Allen is not Brian Hoyer, and I think he does well against the Dolphins this week.
All right, running backs. My number 5, Carlos Hyde at the Ravens. Sneakily, the Houston Texans are top 5 in the league in running, so they lean on the run. Watson is a playmaker, so he has that to move the chains if they need to. Hyde is number 5 for me.
My number 5 is going to be Frank Gore. Yes, Devin Singletary has taken the reins at the running back position, but they're playing the Dolphins. I think they might go with a little bit of change up, a little bit of a back and forth. So I think Frank Gore, and they're going to try to run out the clock near the fourth quarter if it gets a little ugly. I will take Frank Gore at number 5. He's more of a flex guy for me.
Number 4 for me, and you have this guy. It's Ronald Jones against the Saints. I have Ronald Jones here because he's taken away that backfield, and everything Bruce Arians says just keeps installing confidence in him. And what I love about Jones is he's excellent in the passing game, and he's only getting better. He had a great week in the receiving game last week. He's 4 for me.
I agree with Ronald Jones. He did not make my list, but my number 4 is going to be Brian Hill going up against the Panthers. Like I said, Panthers, great defense in the pass, average on the run, and he has taken the...
Well, I just told you they're one of the league's worst against the run, which is confusing because they have Luke Kuechly, and they got a good front 7, but they are poor against the run. It's a great matchup.
And Devontae Freeman's out. Brian Hill is owned in like 1.2% of leagues.
Well, he was the biggest pickup this week on waivers.
I agree, and so I think he's going to do well against the Panthers. He's my number 4.
Number 3 for me, Austin Eckler. Reason being the passing game. He's going to be involved in the passing game. It's a great matchup against the Chiefs. Phillip Rivers is the king of dumping the ball off, and he and Austin Eckler have a good rapport. He's 3 for me.
My number 3 is going to be Joe Mixon. This is a guy who really I thought was going to be like a top 5 running back this year. Hasn't really been that. But the Bengals, even when they're getting blown out by 50 by the Ravens, are still running the ball. They're still giving Mixon 30 carries a game or whatever it is. So
I think it helps that Andy Dalton's no longer the quarterback because when he was there, they were comfortable just airing it out all the time. They have a young, inexperienced quarterback in Finley, so I agree with you there with Mixon. He's starting to trend upwards as far as total volume is concerned.
Yep, and Raiders not so good against the run.
Number 2 for me is Marlon Mack, home against the Jaguars. A little bit disappointing week last week, but part of that is they wanted to showcase Brian Hoyer or something, but Marlon Mack bounced back at home against the Jaguars.
My number 2 is Austin Eckler. He's going to be a top 15 running back this week. And yes, I know Melvin Gordon's come back, and he's really taken, it's more of a change up between them, whoever has the hot hand, but they're both good enough to be top 15 running backs every single week. I will take Austin Eckler at number 2.
All right, 1 for me. You touched base on him, Brian Hill. He, to me, it was the pickup of the week. I was able to get him in a couple leagues. I was lucky in. This is a great matchup. The Panthers are one of the worst against the run. You've seen what Aaron Jones was able to do to them, and on just like 13 carries, I believe he had. Brian Hill doesn't have that concern of Jamal Williams getting touches. So this is Brian Hill, and Dan Quinn already came back and gave him confidence and said that he is every bit as good to get 20 touches a game. So I'm confident in Brian Hill.
I'm confident in Brian Hill as well, but not nearly as confident as I am in Le'Veon Bell against the Redskins. He is viewed as a top 10 running back across the league. He hasn't played that way.
In fantasy.
Yeah, not in fantasy, not this year. And I think this is going to be his first real big game against the Redskins. Bad defense across the board. Look for Bell to get a lot of to be the bell cow. Mind the pun in this week's games. Going to wide receiver at number 5.
For 5 for me, Marquise Hollywood Brown at home against the Texans. The Texans just keep adding cornerbacks, but that's still the weakness of their defense. The Texans, like I said, they're good running the ball and they're good at stopping the run. I think they're top 7 at stopping the run. Either way, I think Marquise Brown is in position to have a home run in this game.
Number 5 receiver for me is Curtis Samuel of the Carolina Panthers going up against the Falcons at home. Like I said, Kyle Allen earlier, the pass defense in Atlanta is not good, and I think this is going to be a game that they air it out. I expect Curtis Samuel to get a lot of passes. Or
And
not passes,
I have
catches.
4. I have his teammate DJ Moore. And last week against the Packers, DJ Moore was the one. He was the most impressive receiver on that team. He had over 100 yards. DJ Moore here against Atlanta. They are weak in the secondary, so this is a good matchup.
Number 4 for me is Terry McLaurin of the Redskins. Yes, I know the Jets are going to run wild on the Redskins, but I think the Redskins are going to pass wild on the Jets. Jets not so good against pass defenses here, and McLaurin has solidified himself as the number 1 receiver in that receiving core. Terry McLaurin will make a good flex this week.
3 for me is Tyler Boyd at the Raiders. The Raiders, they can score and they're fun to watch, but their defense can give up points as well. And I think Tyler Boyd, the number 1 receiver there, I'm not saying he's going to have a great week, but he's going to get, 10 targets at least. So I have him at 3.
My number 3 looks at the opposite team of him, Tyrell Williams on the Raiders. He has been the number 1 receiver since Antonio Brown left. Bengals, bad defense, bad team in general. Look for the Raiders to pass a lot on them. Just like you mentioned, Derek Carr is going to do well. I think Tyrell Williams follows.
This is one of those weird games where, I predict that it'll be a high-scoring game where I think both teams will be in the 20s at least. But this could be a game where, since both teams are not elite, this could be one of those games that is 17-10.
Yeah.
So it could be I'm limiting my expectations on the Bengals here, but I do think Boyd is going to have a good week. 2 for me is a guy that I really like, Julian Edelman. At the Eagles. The Eagles have one of the worst second. Do you see a trend here? A lot of these matchups are one of the worst, really good matchups for the player that we're picking. Julian Edelman, he's in a great position this week to succeed against the Eagles.
My number 2 is going to be John Brown against the Dolphins. Similar kind of trend for me when it comes to picking these games. So John Brown against the Dolphins. Josh Allen's going to do well, but I think John Brown might get loose for a few deep balls.
Number 1 for me, and this is a great guy. If he's on waivers, then what are you doing now? You should pick him up. He's probably not on waivers, but Deebo Samuel. You seen what he did when Emmanuel Sanders left? I was checking the injury report. Emmanuel Sanders had bruised ribs, and he did not practice on Wednesday. But Thursday, Friday are the days to look at. And if he practices, then Sanders will play. But either way, Samuel is a great play this week against the Cardinals. And if you own Samuel, you're hoping that Sanders misses this week.
And my number 1 is going to be Michael Gallup. The Cowboys offense is number 1.
That's actually a good one. I didn't think of that.
Cowboys pass offense. Pass offense. Can I talk? Pass offense is number 1 in DVOA. What does that stand for? I don't know, but it's a thing that Pro Football.
Stat.
Yep, Pro Football Focus uses it a lot. And the Lions pass defense, or just defense in general, terrible. Michael Gallup is going to do top 10 numbers this week against the Lions. Look for him to. If you're playing against them, good luck. Tom's team.
I actually like that one. I didn't think of Michael Gallup. Tight end, moving to tight end.
Yes.
These are where we're going to have some higher, maybe even top 5 options.
Some stretches.
I don't have Travis Kelce, I promise. Number 5 for me, Greg Olsen. He is Kyle Allen's security blanket, him along with McCaffrey. Greg Olsen, he had another good week against the Packers. He doesn't need a touchdown. He just needs 5 catches for 70 yards, and that's a good week for him. He's number 5 for me.
My number 5 is going to be Ryan Griffin. Yeah, I know it's Ryan Griffin, but...
Is he related to Peter Griffin?
You a big Family Guy?
I just wonder if he's related.
Oh, I don't know if you like that show. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm going to go with no because his athletic ability off the charts, and he's going to do well against the Redskins this week. He plays for the Jets, in case you didn't know. I wouldn't expect you to know because
I know.
Well,
he's a backup tight end to Chris.
Well, we're the experts of fantasy football, so
Ryan Griffin used to play in the Texans.
He did used to play in the Texans. Now,
yeah, see, I know Ryan Griffin. I actually played him against you, which I did lose. I will credit that I lost to Garrett.
Yeah,
but in the standings, I'm still above him, so it still all works out.
Hey, we have 2 pivotal matchups this week. I play Tom's team, and you play. I play I'm the 4th ranked. I play number 5 ranked.
Me and you are locked for playoffs, but it's just all about can I get the top 2 seed.
Yeah, I think.
And
you
I've
I are
actually
trying-
I'm third seed, but I whacked my dad who was the second seed, and I beat the first seed a lot. So like in real life, like don't the record does it tells you what you are, but it also can be miscued.
Okay.
Back to the rankings. Where were we at?
Also, Nick plays the 6th ranked. He's the 3rd ranked. He plays the 6th ranked. I'm definitely going to be rooting for the 6th ranked because if Nick loses, then I jump up to number 3. Going into number 5, like I said, Ryan Griffin. I think he'll do well against the Redskins. What's your number 4 tight end?
4, Mark Andrews. He had a down week 2 weeks ago.
Mark Andrews.
Well, I mean, this is where we're
You
getting.
start
to.
him every week if you have Mark
Yeah.
Andrews. Okay.
But, I mean, I can't go out there and throw Logan Thomas on the Lions. Like I got to be honest here. Mark Andrews. 2 weeks ago, he had a down poor week. I think he only had 2 catches for like 20 yards. But last week he had a bounce back week. He gets the Texans, and I don't see anyone on the Texans holding him down. He's 4 for me.
My number 4 is going to be Jason Witten. Like I said, Cowboys' number 1 offense in DVOA. Lions pass defense, terrible across the board. They should probably trade Darius Slay if they can get 3 first-round picks for him. Probably not possible, but Jason Witten
Lions
is
will
going to...
never blow it up.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're going to extend
never...
Stafford for 6 more years at like $250 million, and
Yeah.
we're going to have another 10 years of
Here we-
agonizing Lions football.
Here we go into the ballad of
We'll
misery.
be like 40 years old before the Lions move off Stafford.
Jason Witten's my number 4. He's going to do well. They're not going to be able to bracket him because Jared Davis sucks at pass coverage. Going to your number 3 tight end.
Gerald Everett, he had 12 targets last week. I love this pick because Jared Goff is struggling. The offensive line is not the same as it was last year. They can't run the ball. And 12 targets for a tight end that's a dream to have 12 targets for a tight end. Gerald Everett, 3rd-year player. He looks like he's starting to ascend. He has the matchup against the Bears. It's not a great matchup, but again, I think there's enough targets here for him to have a good week. He's 3 for me.
My number 3 is going to be Tyler Eifert. Call me crazy because last week his matchup was basically saved by a touchdown, but he's going up against the Raiders, who are a bad pass defense, and I think, I hope that Ryan Finley starts to target him more. So this is more of a dart throw, but I think Eifert has the potential to do better than Griffin and Jason Witten. Tyler Eifert is my number 3. Go ahead.
2 for me, that same game, Darren Waller. He's actually he was elite at the start of the year. He's had a couple like down weeks, but he's still up there. He's 2 for me against the Bengals. Lovely matchup. I don't see anyone on the Bengals able to hold him down.
I agree. Except if you have Darren Waller, you should start him every week. Anyways, Jared Cook.
Well, is that supposed to? Well, you're not going to like my number 1 then. You're going to hate my number 1.
All right. Jared Cook's my number 2. Saints have been getting it going on the pass, except for last week.
He's looking at my number 1 right now.
Is that your number 1?
No, you're looking at my.
I wasn't
number
looking.
one
I wasn't looking until just now. Jesus. All right. Jared Cook is my number 2. They're going up against the Buccaneers, who number 1 in rush defense, but terrible in the pass defense. So terrible in the pass defense. Jared Cook, I expect to have a good week, and he is my number 2.
Number 1 for me, and this is where I say the tight end position is just. It has to happen this way. I think he could be the number 1 tight end this week, and his name is Hunter Henry. Taking on the Chiefs. Like I said, the Chargers are going to have to pass the ball a lot here. Henry looks like he's right up there with Keenan Allen as far as the targets in the passing game, so I have high confidence in Henry this week.
All right, my number 1, I know I dog on him a lot because he's old as dirt, and but he's doing well for the Panthers this year.
Antonio Gates?
No. No, he's doing well for the Panthers, and I'm going up against the Falcons this week. My number 1 is Greg Olsen. I think he has another good week against the Atlanta Falcons, who are worst pass defense in the league.
I can't argue there, but I have him at 5. But
you also have 4 guys that if you own them, you're starting every week.
Well, Gerald Everett is just starting to turn into a start every week. He wasn't that a couple weeks ago.
Okay, but Mark Andrews, Hunter Henry. If I own Hunter Henry, I'm starting him every week, besides his bye. Jeez.
Well, I just told you the tight end and quarterback position is difficult because, like,
I gave you dart throws.
I'm not going to tell you to go. I'm not going to tell you to
Ryan
go.
Griffin will do well. Jason Witten
I'm
might
not
do
going to
well.
tell you to go start.
Ryan Griffin. Jason Witten.
Well, I don't have complete confidence in Ryan Griffin at all. If
Well, I
did,
don't have
would
complete
him on-
confidence in most of these guys. I'm just giving you guys that you could start. These are flex guys, you know.
All right, that's the rankings this week.
Sorry for not giving you an in-depth, but we want to give you more
For
precise,
less quality, more quality,
less time, more precise podcast instead of us rambling on about how the Dolphins might do well or how the Buccaneers ship is sinking.
That was a couple weeks ago. Oh, yeah,
that might have been our best podcast, I think.
might have.
Driscoll Mania's running wild in Detroit.
That should be the intro every week. The Buccaneers,
like our,
Buccaneers ship is sinking.
Just us talking about the Buccaneers
Like
ship.
the replay of it, like the rerun of that.
Hey, maybe
The Buccaneers ship
I can
is
pull
sinking.
some.
It's like the Titanic.
Maybe I can pull some magic, make that happen. I don't know. Thank you guys for listening as always. We got it under 30 minutes today. Clap
And
for us in your
Garrett's
home
hoping
or in
the
your
power
car.
gets on, or else he will not be watching Thursday Night Football tonight.
Yeah, let's hope this power comes back on because I gotta edit this and throw it on the tube. So
Throw it on.
throw it on the YouTube.
All right, thank you for listening.
Yep, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Hopefully I will have a Pogs block out, but I don't know. I'm a busy guy, and we have some busy people working for us, aka the two of us. So enjoy your week, win your fantasy game, and credit us when you do. Amen. Peace out.